All right. Good day, folks. Hopefully, you can hear my voice. If you can hear my voice and see the screen, drop where you're tuning in from, drop your location, and we will get this party started. I think I'm live here. My camera's on. Everything looks fine, I think. Can you hear me, folks? Can you see me? Let's see. Who do we have here? We got someone tuning in from Nashville, Tennessee. We got Dallas, Texas. We've got Oakland. I think I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Well, welcome, folks, and thank you for taking a few minutes to tune in to this rant. But today is special, or this evening, or depending on where you're tuning in from, it's special. It's always special, but this one's extra special because of what it's about. But before I do that, I want to introduce myself. My name is John Spencer. I'm one of the founders of the financial literacy social media type platform known as For Wealthy Minds. And I'm also an educator when it comes to trading in the foreign exchange market. So before we move ahead, I want to make real clear what For Wealthy Minds is for those that may not know. We are a community focused on building your financial literacy, your wealth, your income, minimizing with different tax strategies, cross investment vehicles, and things like that. But one of our primary and original things that we teach and talk about is trading. And we're going to actually reveal one day soon the name of our trading brand. But today, it's not about that. It's not about me. It's about a super student. And the term super student, we like to say, is it's not just about, oh, how much money they've made, or, you know, how perfect they trade, or any of that stuff. It's really about just somebody tuned in, and they're going after their goals, and they're using our tools, our community, our technology to quickly catch on to what it's like to be a trader. And they're learning. They're coming from humble beginnings, some people, because they've never even heard of this game. And so today, I want to point out a super student that is very near and dear to me. All of them are, but this one is because he is on the other side, literally on the other side of the world, and we actually haven't met in person. So I want to formally introduce to you Ian. Can you hear me, Ian? Ian? Yes? Are you there? Let
Yes,
me
I can hear you.
okay, let me give you the co-ability there. Ian, there he is. Ian, thank you for taking a few minutes. So nothing fancy here. What I'd like to do is tell us a little bit about you. Share your name, share your age, if you don't mind that, and share where you're located. Where do you reside?
Cool. So can you hear me?
I can. Uh-huh.
Cool. Thank you. Sorry, I'm in my in the kitchen of my workplace, so it's quite echoey.
Okay,
So
it's all
yeah,
good. Sounds
let me
good.
know if the message doesn't get across. And plus, my Kiwi accent might not make sense to a whole lot of you. So yeah. Anyway, my name is Ian Tuki. Currently reside in Auckland, New Zealand, and I'm 38, 39 in August. Yeah, so that's a bit
Nice.
about me.
So
Yeah.
you're still young. So tell us, what is your current occupation, if you have one, and also how long have you been a part of For With Your Minds learning trading?
My current occupation is I manage a library, a community library in Auckland, and it's one of 58 libraries in the city. So I manage one of the community libraries here, and I've been here for about 10 years now. So it's probably my longest job, and I never ever thought I'll see myself working in the library. I grew up in libraries as a kid. Mum used to take us in our school holidays. She used to bring us to the library. So I probably was always destined for the library. But my background is I'm a qualified landscaper, builder,
Okay.
and yeah. So my family found it quite funny that I moved from building industry into libraries. They couldn't make sense of it. But hey, it pays the bills.
Well, listen, folks, I just pause for a second, Ian. I want to make sure all of our listeners and the folks that are streaming in and tuning in, did you hear where he's located? Because he's got that super cool accent, but I'm just curious, did anyone by chance hear where he is located, where he's tuning in from? Anybody? Let me know in the chat box. Did you hear where he's tuning in from? I just also, Ian, one, you know how I am. I want to make sure, they're listening, they're following along. So there seems to be a disconnect other than obviously Candice that's on here. He is in New Zealand, which, Ian, by the way, I really need to come visit because that's on my personal bucket list. I got real close. I spent a good amount of time in the Gold Coast of Australia, but I never made it over. Folks, do you understand that he's literally on the other side of the world? This is important because of the rest of his story. So, Ian, let's keep moving. How long have you been learning from For Wealthy Minds and kind of just going along this journey of learning how to trade?
For Wealthy Minds itself, I've been, I guess, learning since the beginning of this year. It's basically when you announced that you were actually in For Wealthy Minds. I know you were one of the founding members. That's when I jumped on board. I did hear about it last year because I followed Chris Evans on his social media, so I kind of saw the launch then. But then I actually got actively involved once you jumped on. Well, once you made yourself known to the team. So at the beginning of this year.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And so, what made you want to learn about trading? What piqued your interest with trading in general?
Initially, it was just about a second income. And then once I guess once I got, once I started getting involved, it was more than that. It became more about a passion to learn something that I've never ever seen in my life. I've always wanted to understand what those charts were, but I thought it was only for people who were highly educated, and they are highly educated too, and that it was something that I couldn't achieve. But I guess some of the stories I heard while I started learning about trading, it made it possible for me because I didn't. Education wasn't a thing for me initially as I was growing up. I pretty much mucked around in school, to be honest. And then education became a thing for me after a certain experience in my life. And then I went on to do that. But then learning about trading, the passion became about learning another skill. It wasn't so much about the money then. It was just learning another skill that was so foreign to me. And then the bonus was that you can make some money off it.
Awesome. No, thank you for sharing that because I'm always intrigued to how many of us we don't learn about trading at school. No one talks about trading. They teach us all this stuff. They don't talk to us about money, mindset skills, mental skills, really just for life. And surely they don't talk to us about trading and how you truly can do it on the side, which transitions to my next question. And that's, so talk to me how you have a job right now. Talk to me how now that you've added trading into your routine, how is your lifestyle? Is it possible to learn this while having a job and talk to us about that?
Yeah, this is a funny story because trading has done a lot for me, and I haven't been trading for long, for about 2-3 years actually, and was in a previous company that I met you, John, and the team, and that's where it all started for me. But in those 2 or 3 years, it kind of exposed a lot of my weaknesses, and so along the way, I started learning more about myself and who I really was, especially in my marriage. And it's actually been a savior for my marriage as well. So, but what it has taught me is mindset, sort of like consistency and doing things, over and over again. Even when it gets boring, you've got to make it exciting in your life. And trading became that thing for me in my life, and it certainly changed a lot of things in my lives, and not just with my marriage, my life in general, also my spiritual walk. It's also brought a bit of consistency to that area in my life, but more so at work as I currently work. Like I'm not saying I was inconsistent at work or inconsistent in other areas. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And trading kind of brought a lot of that to my attention. And so I've managed in all my roles. Like I've had quite a few jobs. This has been my longest in the libraries, and they've all been managerial roles, supervisory roles. So I'm used to managing. And then one thing it exposed in my life was I know how to manage people. I know how to manage everything outside of me, but I wasn't paying attention to myself. And that's probably where I guess the biggest fault came, because I started realizing that I was going 100 miles an hour thinking and doing things for other people rather than myself. And then I wasn't giving my best self. And so trading kind of, when I adopted the whole trading mentality, I'm still working on it now, but it's given me more consistency. And that's the attitude that I think is quite important, especially for trading, because it's no joke. You turn your back on it, and we all know what it can do to you. And it just kind of affected my mentality for a whole year. And I almost gave up. And that's the truth. I almost gave up on it. But I knew that once I kind of half walked away from the game, I knew I had to come back, because that was the only thing giving me consistency. So I came back.
Wow. Folks, drop a Y in the chat box for yes, because for me, I think number one, Ian, let me say this. I appreciate you for sharing and taking this time too. As for everyone else that's tuning in and streaming in, you said a lot, and I hope that was picked up. I hope that was picked up. I asked them to drop a Y for yes to see if they were just paying attention to what you were saying, because folks, what he just said was more valuable than money. And I'm going to do my best to just kind of summarize what he said. One of the things that trading helped with was his mindset, was his relationship, was keeping himself accountable, and showing him what it takes to learn a skill. That money can't buy that, Ian. I want you to realize, I know you're on your path to greatness, and I'm always proud of you for that. But at the same time, it's crazy to me how people think life becomes about money or life becomes about trading. And it's just so far from the truth. And the fact that it's helped you even with your spiritual walk, that's crazy. No, who would have thought, the things that come along with just saying yes and trying to learn, a skill. And so my next question, I feel like you covered it, but if just in case you missed anything, my next ask was, were there any struggles that you had to overcome? What struggles did you have to overcome along your learning journey to kind of help you elevate your success and understanding of the market at this time?
I did mention it, but I would probably want to elaborate on it a bit more. Was the mental side of trading. It's a constant work in progress for me, but I think for me, I kind of felt like when I first started out trading, I was hitting these mental blocks. Basically, what I'm meaning is that I'll learn about what a candle is, what the charts look like, how to enter the trade, how to exit the trade, and that it doesn't matter. Like the market's going to do what the market's going to do, and that's what you always say. Right? Every educator says that in For Wealthy Minds, and it's so true. It's so true. And we need to, I guess I needed to stop thinking that it was fixed. Once we had that knowledge, we're just going to go in, and then it's going to be like an ATM machine. It's going to spit up cash, And I think we come in thinking that that's what trading's like. But it's such a, I guess I'm not going to go too far back into history, but I had taken on this whole education of learning what money is, how is it made, and stuff like that since 2017. And I feel like some of that knowledge has kind of led me to this path of trading. But one thing and as sad as that is to say, but I currently have a couple of bachelor degrees. I have a master's. I have all this qualification, but it meant nothing when I came into the trading game. You know, I'm not bagging people who are educated, because I am myself. And I felt like as a Pacific Islander and living in New Zealand, I had a lot more to prove than New Zealanders, because my parents migrated from the islands to New Zealand to give us a better life. And I think a lot of Māori and Polynesians or non-Kiwis, this is how we feel when we grow up in New Zealand. You know, I'm a New Zealander through and through now, but that's because I was born here. But we live at a disadvantage, and then we feel we do. So we have a lot more to prove. So for me, because I didn't get my education at school, I went and got it at university. It was just to prove to everyone that I could do it too. And then I'm on this high, and then I come into the trading game, and it's a totally new world. And I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, I thought I could count, but I couldn't. Like, I mean, in sort of like the trading sort of world, you know, numbers is numbers, but numbers in trading it's got 100 languages. So anyway, some of the struggles, it led to my whole mentality, and it's all mental for me. It's all mental for a lot of us, actually. So, you know, winning and losing trades really, really affected me. And so, you know, like other people, they go and read books, watch other videos about traders and their life. But really, the answer was right in front of me. And like, this is why I probably always talk about you, John, because you made it so simple for me. And some of the things that you were experiencing in your own life actually apply to my life, because, and you're not saying that. You mentioned on the call the other night that you don't really look at a candle the way everyone else looks at a candle. You just look at the whole structure, and that's the kind of person that I am, because I try to simplify everything in life. And I had a few experiences with other traders before I met you and the team, and they made it look so complicated that that's where I felt, okay, I'm so incompetent in this world, so I'm going to leave it. But I'm so glad I didn't. And another friend invited me back to the trading world. And then since I met you and the team, I've just been on this journey of following you, because there's so much nuggets I take out of that also helps towards my mentality towards trading. And it's a constant thing. You've got to wake up every day and needs to be intentional. I guess that's the word I want to probably summarize in this whole speech. If anyone missed the whole speech, is intentional.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you've got to be intentional about what you've learned and what you've experienced, and then apply it. Because if you don't have that, then you pretty much don't have anything in the game. And then you've got to start your day off like that. Otherwise, for me, if I do not start my day off like that, and a few things do not go my way, I stay out of the market, because I've lost so much money when I've gone in unprepared, thinking that I knew more than the market, and the market's just taken my boat and ran. So yeah.
No, I appreciate you for sharing that. So I only have a couple more questions. I appreciate you for sharing your time. I'm not going to, take too much more of your time. I was curious, do you happen to use any of our tools, our trade alerts, indicators? What's some of the things that you use? And then you don't have to give me, don't tell me something over here. What's one of your favorite things you use, and then kind of share with us some of the stuff that you use. And I can cover my ears if it has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to take that personally.
Nah, no worries.
We have a lot of cool stuff, so it's okay.
Oh, everything from the educational classes, live calls, all the tools, Trade Compass, Trade Pilot. I'm still getting used to using those tools, but the Quickfire, hey, that's been amazing. It's just simplified everything, and I love a simple life as much as I can. So obviously, that's going to be one of the main nuggets that I've experienced. And it's quite funny because these interviews are entitled Super Student. I'll probably be the most super annoying student to Chris because every time I run into issues, I go to him and I don't go through the platform when I should be. But I feel like my questions are really petty, so I go through to Chris, and Chris has been so helpful. But that's all because he's helped me like because I thought I was technology savvy, but when it comes to trading and technology, it's a whole different world. And I'm thinking, what are these? You know, what are these folders? What are these? And you know, this is how you activate this and that and this. You know, the other day I asked them a question about how do I bring up the VPS on my iPad.
Well, that's your fault, Ian. You got Apple products, you know, and the Android products, it's a little bit, you know, more simple, a little easier to use, but it's okay. You can finish. It's really, folks, he's
Yeah.
about to talk about his Apple, you know, situation, but I know what you're about to say. I just had to give you a hard time. You know, you're getting it set up on your Apple, so go ahead.
Yeah, well, the other day I almost bought, you know, a Samsung Fold, but I just couldn't bring myself to doing so. So I'm that
What?
loyal to Apple.
This
I'm
is
that
greatness. This is greatness.
And I know you got one because you've just shown it, but my wife also has one. So I actually tricked her into thinking that, you know, she was helping me. And then I asked her a question of how easy can you load a VPS? And she just done it within seconds. And I was like, but then my loyalty came back in towards Apple. But, you know, and within a few seconds of just, you know, explaining to me and instructing me, you know, and he didn't say much on the thing. He just made me see what I could see all this time. I just didn't read it properly, you know. So I got it up and running, and it's been amazing. You know, it's been so amazing that I've been showing everybody because it's portable, and that's why I wanted to, I guess, have it on an iPad so I can just whip it out and show people what I'm actually doing because a lot of people actually do ARCs. So yeah, so it's been yeah. I didn't even know if I answered the question. Sorry, John.
You did. I
Yeah.
asked you what tools that were your favorite. So folks, drop a QFD in the chat box because what he said was he pretty much uses all of the tools, but his favorite was the Quickfire Dash, and that's one of our semi-automated weapons, is what I think me and Shinobi call it. But it does literally 93. Would you say, Ian, 97% of the work? I mean,
Yeah, so
it really
I
does.
totally agree. Yeah, it's just
It,
one or two clicks. So yeah,
yeah, and I mean, it finds the trade set up. It lets you know the trade is ready. It already cross-checked the rules. It manages the trade for you. It gets you in, it gets you out. It's bananas, like for real. And I was joking, folks. All of our tools work on Apple. I just want to say, hey, Apple is not paying me to talk about them, so I don't need to keep saying Apple, nor is Android and Samsung, but our tools work for both devices. I just didn't want to cause any confusion or anything like that. So getting to our final couple things here, Ian, one of them is what's one of your favorite things about For Wealthy Minds? And that can be anything at all. It doesn't have to be trading related. It's okay if it is trading related. It can be community related or whatever you care to share.
yeah. I think you just mentioned it in the letter. As the community. You know, it's such a because I'm not one to ask people for help. Like I don't know whether I'm just shy or I feel like it's a dumb question I'm going to ask people. But I guess when you get down to the nuts and bolts of trading, there's going to be many times when you're going to have to ask. You know, and I started that by asking questions on a live because
Yeah.
I became almost too embarrassed to ask even yourself questions. You know, because a lot of the traders, yourself included, and the rest of the team in Full Wealthy Minds, and I know there's a lot of students that are in awe of you. You know, I'm one of them, and I just find you guys amazing. And ladies, sorry, Ash. And so
Can't leave out Ash Motive, you
you
know, the
can't leave out
beginning,
Ash.
the beginner basics expert. Absolutely.
Yep, definitely. And I can second that. She's definitely an expert because that's how I got to understand the game. And so yeah, it's definitely as the community. The community is very supportive, and I've asked questions on a live call, and the students have been that kind and helping me out in the background. So it's an awesome community, and I like the fact that it has that social media look like Facebook, because you know that's quite familiar to us today, you know. And believe it or not, I'm going on to 40, and it is familiar to me. You know, probably the updates in the near future probably won't become familiar, but you know, so it's just been the community, and you know, and obviously it's packaged in this and a whole lot of love and support, because it's important that you feel a part of something, and that keeps you, I guess, staying in the community.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably one of the this is actually the first platform that I've actually been a part of that has been a lifetime access, you know, and I'm forever grateful for you all making that decision, because sometimes, even though some might think it's a bit pricey, but I believe it's so much value. Once you jump into the community, not knowing that you do not have to worry about next month's payment, because you know the education is so important, that it's what's more important is that you have that lifetime access, because like you said on many of your calls, that we've got so much time to learn this because we have lifetime access. So yeah, I'm quite grateful for that, and just being a part of the community.
Awesome. No, you're absolutely correct. And I just remember when I first got started, I think one of my biggest hurdles as a trader was there was no community. And I couldn't stand that there was no who is doing this with me. Where would you feel that we're in this together? When we talk about trades on our sessions, we're in them together. We're having these conversations together. You're not on your own. We don't just spit out information to you and then, hey man, good luck. And
Yeah.
I think that what you said was huge is community. And if the listeners take away anything else, is we're huge about community. We're in this together. There's so many platforms out there. It makes me absolutely sick because they're just after people's money. They're hyping up trading. They're after people's money. Doesn't matter if they learn or not. Here's another boot camp for you. Here's another, you know, put people here, put people there. Are you learning anything? That's really what people have to, and is it truly a community? And so thank you for your favorite thing about us is probably my favorite thing about us. I'm surprised you didn't say, you know, one of your favorite things when you come to my sessions, I say crazy stuff, and some people, you know, I'm joking about that. Listen, my last question, would you recommend someone to learn from the For Wealthy Minds community? And if so, why? Why would you recommend it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I do it now. I've done it since the beginning, you know, since the beginning of my journey with For Wealthy Minds. You know, I've gone off and said things that even I haven't experienced before, but I knew and I could trust that, you know, this platform was going to come to fruition, and it has. It's probably done more than my expectations of it, to be honest. And again, like I said before, you know, I met you and the team in a previous company, and I guess that's where I saw your integrity, and integrity means a lot to me, especially with you know, I won't talk about it, but my background, it became like someone's word means a lot to me, and if they break it, then it's kind of hard to trust in me. But and the integrity that comes along with it, integrity is a big thing for me, and as we all know and experienced in the trading game, there's a whole lot of, liars, it's hard to find that true, platform, or that true team. So definitely I've shared, I'll continue to share for Wealthy Minds with people, probably not in a network marketing sort of angle, because I kind of don't, me and network marketing do not get on well, because of my past experiences. And so, to be honest, ideally I only came into trading because I wanted to learn the skill of trading. And I feel like I'm in the right place, with the right team, with the right educators, and and I wouldn't change this for anything. So yes, I'll definitely share that. And I also wanted to mention, I do love your Rhino rants, because they talk to me. So that's, sorry I missed that out. But yeah,
No, I was
definitely.
just giving you a
Yeah,
hard time.
I love it though. Yeah.
So folks, I want to recap before we land the plane here and call this a night. Ian, all the way from the motherland of Auckland, New Zealand. Sheesh, long ways away from me, man. I'm in Dallas, Texas right now. And his journey has been really probably more than money can buy. It's helped him mentally, it's helped his spiritual walk, it's enhanced his relationship, and obviously he's grabbing an amazing tool in his back pocket, which is tapping into the foreign exchange market. It is a multi-trillion-dollar per day market. Don't forget, you can have your piece of that. And one of his favorite things about For Wealthy Minds is the technology and the tools and the resources, but mainly the community. And he's able to learn on the go from an Apple product, but it works for any type of device. And he's able to do that while he's balancing his life. He's balancing his livelihood. He has a job right now, and he's able to tune in from the other side of the world and tap in. And he uses a tool that we have at For Wealthy Minds called the Quickfire, which does a lot. So ask about the Quickfire if you have no idea what that is. And if you have no idea what For Wealthy Minds is, I think we just kind of summed it up. Is we are a financial literacy education community with a lot of other verticals coming in the very near future. But today we wanted to talk to a super student and find out his experience about trading. So Ian, I appreciate you. I really value you, brother. And thank you for sharing some of your time. And folks, be like Ian, not exactly like him, but the habits that he has. His success comes from the habits that he's put forth. And that's he's showing up from hope for himself every single day that he can. It's on his calendar. It's his routine. And then he's consistent with that, which is key. And on top of this, he's applying, he's listening, and he's applying. And I believe whoever is speaking into your life is either sending you backwards or pushing you forward. And I think that goes so watered down through the way the world is today. Is there's so many people there, they don't know who to tune into. And I think that's my favorite thing about For the Minds is the community of like, we are bringing you some of the best resources, tools, and mindset. Mindset's everything, I think, in life in general. We bring all that. And so another thing that he's great at doing is he's just being patient. He's going along the process. He's studying, he's rinsing and repeating everything that we offer to him. And so I just wanted to show him some love today and tell you, Ian, from the bottom of every one of your educators at For Wealthy Minds, we're proud of you. We love you. We respect you, even though we still haven't met you yet in person, my friend. So, folks, listen, that is it. Put a 4WM in that chat box if you absolutely enjoyed this conversation with Ian. And that's all, folks. Don't give up on yourself. Keep charging for your goals. Why? Because it is your time, and that means it's showtime. So show up for yourself. Make it happen. Peace. Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Steve.